Mariana Cordier. Welcome to Montgomery Weekend Review. The latest headlines about Montgomery County Public Schools concern the amount of absenteeism among our secondary school students who are still graduating even without spending time in the classroom. Fred Evans, who comments on the schools for this program, has some thoughts on this problem. The family programs at Interfaith Works have been an integral part of the services offered by this agency. These necessary parts of the safety net in our county and their future will be outlined by Monica Young, the director of these programs. The Board of Elections in Montgomery County always needs a long lead time to prepare for each election. In fact, the recruitment of Election Day judges, both those who are new to the effort and those returning, is already underway. Gilberto Zelaya from the board will explain who can be judges. Manna Food Center has added to its ability to distribute food to the community by providing a new warehouse for the county so that it can keep up with the needs. Yelba Mojica from Manna will give us the details and has some ideas about how the community can volunteer to help. So Fred, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Truancy's been such, or not just truancy, but absenteeism has been such a problem. Has it always been that way?
I have a long history, as many people probably know who've heard me on this show. I've been in the county for 49 years now. I started teaching in 1970. And absenteeism has been an issue as long as I was in education. And we've gone through many incantations. The article that was in the recent Washington Post pointed out, especially the focus was on Albert Einstein High School, but that's not the only high school that's encountering these problems. And
so I know you've been in public school as an educator
Right.
forever. Is the reasons for this absenteeism the same as always? Has something changed? What is the deal?
I think the focus changes, but I think it really has to do with personal situations in families, number one, and number two, how much do families emphasize you got to get to school and be there on time. And we were talking before the show about I had no choice when I was a kid about whether I was going to attend school. Mm-hmm. But there are situations that occur. What we had back about 20 years ago now is that attendance grades could be based on attendance, so that if you had an 5 unexcused absences, for instance, you could lose credit in the courses that you took. And so that was taken out because so many people were being affected by that. But now we don't seem to have high standards because, as was pointed out in the article, there are students with 40 and 50 absences that still pass the course and still get their diplomas.
So Fred, I'm a little confused. Actually, a lot confused. The parents' responsibility, I get that. We all are struggling to make ends meet, and most especially in the minorities or the communities. But, I just don't understand the school perspective. I mean, we have teachers, we have police presence, we have administrators. Why can they keep track of these kids they...
Oh, they are keeping track.
So is anything, I mean,
that's
so
not
what's
the issue.
Disconnect? What is the disconnect?
The disconnect is that the students have learned that it doesn't matter how many days you are absent as long as you can, quote, make up the work. And we have set up systems where students do have the opportunity to make up the work, and they can do it online or they can do it in a variety of different methods. And there are many teachers who are frustrated. When you talk about the teaching staff, they're very frustrated with how many absences there are, but they don't seem to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, because I'm sorry. Go ahead, no, please.
No, I was going to ask, is there any home visits? I remember before, if someone missed a certain number of days, in particular with younger children, but overall, they would do some type of home visit to see what was preventing the child. Was it a sickness? Was it something that was keeping
I in fact did that myself as a principal, but that's not something that's a standard, so to speak. You got to remember, you got 160,000 students in the Montgomery County schools,
yeah.
and folks who would typically make those visits are pupil personnel workers who don't work in that particular school, but they are assigned, they have 20 and 25 schools.
Sure.
So that home visit thing, although I think it's effective, can be effective, really isn't possible.
And it's tough when you have kids who have to be responsible for getting themselves to school because their parents go to work so early, to impose upon them, how important it is to get there.
And the other thing I think we have to come to terms with is that we have to change the way we educate too, and get with the 21st century. There's so much online learning now. But we still have the.
Well, that was my other question. I was like, if you
Agricultural
have 30 absences, but you turn in the work and it's passing, it's good work. Then my question is, why does it matter if they miss school or not?
I'll let the audience answer that question.
A quick observation too. I mean, we have a very diverse community within the immigrant community, multi-generational, et cetera. But do parents receive some type of small orientation when they enroll their kids?
Absolutely, they receive orientation and they get the student parent handbooks at the beginning of the year. But you have parent nights. There are ways in which, and when a student is absent, what we used to do is send the notifications to the parent: your son or daughter has been absent 4 times and risks not getting credit, but that is not in place. That particular thing is not in place.
Why is it?
Okay, well, we'll have to cut it there and let the audience know.
We need a whole show.
We need a whole show.
We need a whole show for this.
Yeah, you're right.
Interesting topic.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you'll come back. So, Monica, I have to say congratulations on Interfaith Works. The work you guys do, the assistance in the community is amazing. It always has been. And I'm glad you're here to tell us about your programs.
Thank you, Mariana. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, Interfaith Works is 47 years old.
Wow.
And we've been around for a long, long time, and a lot of people knew us as Community Ministry of Montgomery County. We changed our name about maybe 18 years ago to just better reflect our name and the work that we do. So now we have 40 different programs, but they're all interconnected. The center that I run on Twinbrook Parkway is the family center in a lot of ways. We have 5 different programs with a lot of education possibilities for our clients. So what we're trying to do at Family Services and throughout the agency is really provide as much guidance, as much support, as much resources as we can to the people struggling so they can lift themselves out of poverty.
So I have to ask you, because it's one of my favorite programs. What about Safety Net?
The Safety Net. Okay, so Safety Net, there's a lot of people in the county doing Safety Net, and still we don't have enough. However, we're a main player in Safety Net. So Safety Net is when people in the community come up with the same goal to really support, help, and prevent a disturbing situation, whether it's being evicted, whether it's losing the power in their house, losing the gas, losing the water, and just really live in circumstances that nobody should be living in Montgomery County, and it could eventually lead you to homeless. So we're trying to keep everybody housed, and so one of the programs at the Twinbrook site is the Connections program, which is a resource. We have 2 fabulous resource coordinators which will meet with the client, do a needs assessment, and then hook them up with as many resources in the county that they can really benefit from a short term. And then from the office, from our center, what we do is we provide financial emergency services. So we are the largest distributors of PEPCO funds to cover PEPCO and to cover Washington Gas.
I bet you need some help with water, though, because those are huge bills.
Exactly, and this is what we're getting. So we haven't found that yet. I'm hoping that somebody in the audience out there is listening and provides me with that. But we also are trying to prevent evictions. So we have a chunk of money that we actually pay in collaboration with all the people in the safety emergency services community, and we come up with the amount of money owed to prevent that eviction. I wanted to ask you, at what point do you step in to help with utilities, perhaps PEPCO? For example, we hear stories about some of our participants who say, I have to literally have the
the last, your
Disconnect.
disconnection
Yeah.
bill in itself in order to assist? At what point are you able to step in to prevent
Okay,
that?
that
or
was changed when I took over the program. Okay, so here's my philosophy on that. If you already owe $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 on utilities, why would you come to ask me for the $300 or $500 and it
So
was
don't
used to
wait.
be a loan? Don't wait. We're trying to prevent you from getting there.
Okay.
And one of the things that we're trying to do is avoid for paying that $150 to $300 reconnect fee because that could go to the bill. So we're paying bills before they get the
great.
coordinators. So all they need to come is, we serve 13,000 people just at the clothing center, which is our main program on Twinbrook, and we do a needs assessment. So we know that close is just the beginning, but the education and the supports that they need are there. So we're providing English conversation classes on site. We have
That's wonderful.
financial literacy. We had changed the name because nobody really was interested in financial literacy. They just didn't get it. So now we call it Money Talks, and the class will be
And
starting
that's so
soon.
important in my business. I many times am helping clients not with legal issues, but just organizing themselves to get their bills paid.
The understanding of a financial piece, and I most of my clients are women at the clothing center, and I've been telling them, I go out in the morning and I ask them, okay, how many of you know what you bank? No. How many of you know how much you have in your savings account? Don't know. What happens
then
if your
you
husband gets
Yeah.
sent back home, loses their job, gets highly sick? How do you know? We don't know. So the thing is about empowerment and real empowerment, and give them, like I said, every single tool. And we go out of our way to provide among those programs, including vocational services, including computer skills, just so that they can lift themselves out of poverty.
I think we have a way in Montgomery County with keeping a lot of this information under the radar screen, so to speak, that we present
shouldn't
ourselves
be,
as a
yeah.
county as being prosperous and
Yes.
healthy and wealthy, but we have a lot of people
lot of
with great
need.
needs.
Well, there's 70,000 people
There you
in
go.
poverty in Montgomery County,
Yes.
and all of them living 200% or below the poverty line.
And that is the last word, a really sobering last word. All right, we have to take a break. We'll be right back. We're back. Dr. Zelaya.
How are you?
I know you've been chasing me to become an election judge.
Yes, for how many years? Like a decade?
That's me. Oh my God. Well, but it's great to have you,
thank you.
and with so much time lead-in to figure
Kind
out.
of.
Kind of.
Well, it's interesting. So, everyone says, well, the primary is April 28th of 2020. You have plenty of time. Well, we're actively recruiting election judges now. Because our training for election judge service will initiate in the wintertime, around December, January. So we're literally 2 seasons away. You're talking about 5-6 months. And so we're looking for individuals who live in Maryland, who are at least 16, so a lot of our high schoolers.
That leaves
could
me
earn-
out.
Yeah, no. You're here. Well, I think
16.
Oh, I knew there was a reason I couldn't be an
I know,
election.
that was what it was. So we're looking for high school students as well to serve as election judges, both the high school students and county resident, the adults. You need to be a U.S. citizen, registered to vote, and at least 16 to sign up to register and also to serve as a judge. High school students can earn up to 25 student service learning
service,
hours,
right.
which they love, which is a third of their requirement to graduate, or up to $210. This last midterm elections in 2018, we had 1,500 high school students serve as judges.
great.
That's awesome.
And we
That
have the
is.
Future Vote program that has started in 2003, and we've benefited with the delegation, the State Board of Elections, lowering the age from 18 to 17 to 16. So we've fully benefited with young legs, good knees. They're
Yeah.
fast, they're
Active.
tech savvy, and they're
Yes.
bilingual. 45% of our high school students were bilingual,
Excellent.
in Spanish, French, Amharic, etc. And they really complement our adult election judges. We do have part-time positions. So yes, our part-time is technically 8 hours, which is just historically full-time. But of course, it's not the full 15-hour day.
Yeah.
There's a simple online quiz that you have to take. It's multiple choice. So if you fail it, just retake it. Okay, it's really easy.
Did you hear that?
Yes, okay, I think you'll be
If I
fine.
can't pass that
Is
test
that
as a
a problem?
lawyer,
Pass the bar.
I
If you-
might as well turn
took
in my
it 100
life.
Yeah, if you pass the bar, you'll pass this quiz. And then there's training. It's about 3 to 4 hours, depending on the position. We have them Monday through Sunday, morning, afternoon, and evening. So we're very flexible. We have a lot of off-site locations. And then you will serve for the primary and for the general. And then you're part of the team. And every 2 years, we'll contact you. Remember, we're under Section 203 of the Voter Rights Act, which means that everything is in English and Spanish. But we respect the diversity of the county. 4 out of the 10 most diverse cities in America are in Montgomery County.
Right.
Germantown, Gaithersburg, Silver Spring, and Rockville. But there's also pockets in White Oak, there's pockets even in Potomac and Bethesda. This urban myth that Montgomery County is no longer homogeneous. It's a multitude, a kaleidoscope of languages and cultures. And we want to be prepared because it's a customer service and it's a civil rights issue. But at the end of the day, we need judges, we need judges, we need election judges. It's a great day, especially for the high schoolers. We close the high schools and all the schools on election day. So as opposed to playing Fortnite, you could make a little bit of SSL credits and a little bit of cash.
That's going to be the
The
trick
selling
to get them.
point.
I think it's the service hours.
The service
No, it's
hours.
actually the money. You'll be
Yeah,
surprised.
really.
About
Oh, sure.
96% of our high school election judges, they prefer
the
the
money.
stipend, which is fine.
Well, they
Yeah, it's
can
fine.
go to
So
other
would you
organizations.
tell us a little bit what does a election judge do?
Yes,
And what the
so-
responsibilities
so
and
the
time
res-
commitments?
Yes,
but-
so
Yeah,
the
so you
time
have a minute,
commitment,
so-
yes, a minute. So the commitment is give and take ranges anything from 15 to 25 hours. That includes training, preparation, election day service, and Monday evening precinct setup. You help check in the voters, you assist the voters through the process, if there's any Q&A, any questions or any issues they may have. If English is not their native language, then they would assist in their particular language that they need assistance. And then make sure that we're transparent, that we defend the Constitution as written, that we afford every single voter their constitutional right to a secret ballot, and that we're there for accountability. So we are here to serve, and our pillars are our election judges. We have the easy part. We're a team of 25. We bulk up to about 100 part-time temporary workers, but we recruit about 5,000 election judges, but at the end of the day, about 2,800 will serve. So it's a big, huge party. Without our judges, we can't
do it.
have this. And just to let you know, we're always top 10% around the county. We're best practices. We've been identified as best practices by the Department of Justice, Governmental Accountability Office, the U.S. Assistance Commission, the United States Election Assistance Commission, the U.S. A bunch of acronyms. There's all these acronyms. This is DC.
Right.
But we're best practices. So we take pride in our staff. We have our fearless leader, Margaret Jurgensen, Allison McLaughlin is our deputy, and our board members. And also we invite everyone to come to our June 3rd open house where we're going to swear in our new board members.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes.
Well, and congratulations for the
Yes.
best practices.
Thank
and
you.
so June 3rd, you're having
Yes, our open house.
open house.
Monday,
so if
June
anyone's
3rd.
interested, check the website.
Check
and
the
go.
website, everything there to RSVP.
Awesome. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. Thank you.
So welcome to the show. It's your
Thank
first
you.
time.
Yes.
Manna Food, not for Manna Food, but for you. And it's such a great program. Why don't you tell us a
Thank
little
you.
bit about it?
So Manna Food Center is the largest food bank in Montgomery County. We are growing and growing and growing. It's a good thing that we are there at the same time. Of course, like you said, we're very good about Montgomery County about sometimes not exposing the programs that are there to help those in need. So one of the things that we're doing right now and that we're excited about is that we're expanding our services. So the biggest change.
So for the
I'll
audience
say-
to know, so
Sure,
Manna's
sure.
been around
Manna's
as
been
long
ar-
as Interfaith Works
Yes,
has been around. In fact,
yes,
you guys
over 30,
in the beginning
37
teamed up
years.
together.
Yes.
And then and now you guys are expanding, getting a new warehouse.
The warehouse actually is going to remain where it is now. What we're doing is we're doing major renovations in order to accommodate the generous donations that come in on a daily basis, the monetary, and of course the food that's donated through food drives. And so we are going to be, that's going to be a strictly a warehouse. We are going to, the administrative office who was sharing that location is being moved to East County area, which would be the White Oak area. That's also going to have a marketplace, or what we
so
call a
how's the
choice
food
pantry.
being distributed?
So the food is going to be distributed still through the warehouse and being brought to the different locations that we serve. We are going to have a temporary move because, of course, through the major construction that we're going to be doing, we are not going to be able to store food there. We're going to move temporarily to a location nearby. But so again, that's not going to interfere with any of the distribution. The food will continue to go out and disperse throughout the county with that we serve. One of the important things I think I want people to really realize is that because we stopped serving food or distributing food at our Gaither Road location, which is the warehouse, we are now serving out of or distributing food out of Gaithersburg Middle School. So we're very, very thankful for MCPS for allowing us to distribute food there twice a week.
What days and what are the hours for that?
Sure, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 7 p.m. We are finding that a lot of folks who work find that those hours convenient because at that point the children have gone
schools
home.
in session.
School and dinner has been prepared. They can still go until 7 p.m. and get.
Right.
I think one of the greatest things about this location is that, or a couple of others that we have, is that they're called what we call choice pantries or marketplace, where people are able to choose their own produce, their own non-perishable items, and of course in doing that it eliminates waste. Because people are no longer getting something that they're not going to eat.
And so it's kind of like walking into a grocery store.
Exactly. You bring your bags, you basically pick whatever it is that you know your family will eat.
And I think Manna is a great organization.
Thank you.
And I know the Board of Elections, and I welcome all other organizations and individuals watching the show to collaborate with them, because I know that during the holiday season, Christmas, Thanksgiving, everybody likes to give, or especially towards the end of the year for tax purposes. But there's poverty every day.
Yes.
And so, we collaborate with them during the election season and bringing in thousands of pounds of foods. They're
truly
grateful.
Appreciate it, yes.
But at any time, so even if it's a can, I always tell individuals, like, we go to Costco and we'll bring a whole thing, a can, and we'll just drop it off.
Thank you.
Yeah, because just don't think about the holidays and,
after the holidays, that's what happens.
Everybody feels like giving, but it's every day.
Exactly, and through the summer, in particular with children being out of school and being home, that's when the food is definitely needed.
How many people? Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
How many people are serviced by Manna? Do you keep numbers?
Yes, we do. So typically we do on a monthly basis. We do close to 3,500, 3,400 people monthly. And last year alone, I believe we served about almost 32,000. Wow. So, and they are receiving about 60 pounds of food approximately. Right. And that's, of course, along with produce. It includes produce and some non-perishable items as well.
And that's 35,000 families. And within each family could be a family of 5. So you multiply that aggregate.
And some of our locations are being served based on family size. So the bigger the family, of course, the more food that goes out. And yes, we do have those times when we are in need of food. And so it's
how could someone donate food?
So the warehouse it's made for that. You're welcome to come in. We'll give you a receipt. We'll weigh the food. If you want the receipt, of course, you receive it then and there. We do have volunteers that we rely heavily on, and they come and sort through the food.
Okay, well that's great.
But also funding to accept money as well.
Yes,
okay,
we do.
Awesome. So everybody, we're out of time, sorry, Monica, but please remember, those of you at home, that you can donate money or food to Manna.
In time also, as I said.
All right, so thank you, all of you, for joining me this week, and thank you for joining all of us for this week's edition of Montgomery Weekend Review. I'm Mariana Cordier. Please join us next week at the same time.
Just because I'm addicted to heroin doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I'm me. I'm not just addiction.
Stigma keeps people from getting help. Visit our website, learn the facts. Team up, Maryland.